in NORC. My name is Yesenia Lopez, and I am the director of the New Jersey Hispanic Research and Information Center, the NJHRIC, at the Newark Public Library. And that's a really long title. I'm out of breath. It's a great pleasure to welcome all of our busy Latinas, and I definitely thank you all for joining us on this beautiful afternoon. Me da la gran placer de dar la bienvenida a todas nuestras panelistas de parte de mí, de la biblioteca y del North Latino Film Festival. Gracias. Vamos a empezar la programa Combatiendo la Invisibilidad Latinas en la Industria del Cine. La primera parte en la escena. We're going to be starting the program Fighting Invisibility, Latinas in the Film Industry, Part 1 on the scene. But before we start today's program, I'd like to recognize and take a moment of silence, if you will, in honor of George Floyd, victim of police brutality in Minneapolis, Minnesota, who on May 25th, 2020, passed away, died as a victim of police brutality, and whose death has sparked a series of protests across the country and across the world. If all of you tuning in, you could please give us a moment of silence. Thank you. Excuse me. This program came to be when the North Latino Film Festival's founder, Ramon Nazario, approached me a couple of months ago about a program that he wanted to bring to the library that would highlight the often unrecognized and unseen Latinas who work in the film industry. And it was a great proposal because I just wasn't aware and not in touch with this community. So, of course, I welcome the idea. So, hace meses que el fundador del North Latino Film Festival, Ramon Nazario, me habló sobre un programa que reconocería nuestra comunidad, nuestra latina, que trabajan en la industria del cine, y que combatan la invisibilidad muy frecuentemente. Por la pandemia tuvimos que reprogramar por otro tiempo. ¿Y qué tiempo mejor para hablar sobre combatiendo la invisibilidad de nuestra comunidad que hoy? Cuando el país, a través del país y el mundo están protestando sobre la injusticia que nuestra comunidad combata diariamente. Y lo que tengo entendido, algunas de nuestras panelistas van a protestar hoy mismo sobre la misma tema. Because of the pandemic, we had to reschedule this program that was earlier slated for Women's History Month. We had to reschedule because of closing of the library. And I just feel like it's better, what better time to talk about the invisibility of our community than now. When people across the country and across the world are actually protesting against injustices that our community faces daily. And from what I understand, one of our panelists are on their way to a protest today, great timing, ladies. On that note, I'd like to introduce this afternoon's host. She is our founder and talent manager of Arcos Management, Katt Arcos. Me gustaría introducir la fundadora y gerente de talentos, Katt Arcos, de Arcos Management. Katt?
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for your introduction, and thank you for having this program. I think just like you said, it's definitely needed, especially during this time. So I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy to be surrounded with, virtually surrounded with these amazing women that we have here. So thank you for hosting this program. It's amazing. So my name is Katt. I am the founder of Arcos Management. I have a full service talent management company representing diverse actors and actresses. So that is our mission as a company. And, you know, we've been open for, it's gonna be 4 years already. Our clients range from, you know, Latinas, Asians, Arabics, African-American, you name it, like we have it. So that was always something that I felt very passionate about when I started the company, because I felt like we, you know, that those cultures and those backgrounds were underrepresented. So I wanted to kind of be that hope and that light where, you guys can come to us from all different parts of the world and be represented, and we can guide, you know, these actors and actresses that are looking to take the next step in their acting career. So I think, you know, I love seeing new faces. I love seeing different faces. I think that's what it's all about, especially in this world. So I am excited to meet each and every one of you. That's my introduction. So we can go around and just introduce yourself to everyone here. So let's start with, I'm gonna start with Gina because you're right here.
Hi, my name is Ginamarie Rodriguez. I am a filmmaker and actress, as well as the founder and director of the Westfield International Film Festival, which is formerly the Rahway International Film Festival. And I am based in New Jersey, and that's me in a nutshell.
Awesome. Damaris?
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Damaris Salas. I'm an actress, a teacher, an advocate, an activist. And I'm just so honored to be here with all the Latinas because this has never happened. So I was just like excited and nervous. So thank you for this.
Thank you for being here with us. We'll go to Michele.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Michele Nervious. I'm an actress, entertainer, host, dancer. If I can be on stage, I want to be on it. So that's a little bit about me. And I share Damaris's sentiment. Thank you so much for having us. This is definitely needed. You know, I feel like my experience is not the only experience or unique. And so it's great to be able to share it. Thanks.
It's amazing to have you too, Michele. Let's go to Francesca.
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Francesca Pujols. I'm from Dominican Republic. I'm based in New York, and I'm a model and actress. Thank you.
Amazing, amazing. Again, guys, ladies, I'm gonna say, thank you for being with us today. I think it means so much. I know we're dealing with a new normal right now, like us just being here virtually. But you know, I definitely always look at the positive side. I think being virtual, it gives us more opportunity to reach more people, you know, people that are just home right now. So thank you for letting us into your homes, everyone that's watching. I do want to remind everyone, we do have, please ask questions. I want this to be as interactive as possible. You know, it kind of is what we want to, you know, if you guys have any questions or, you know, we want to be here to answer any questions that you guys may have. So please definitely don't be afraid to ask questions. But yeah, I'll start with the questions, and if any questions come up, ladies, I will read them off to you. Okay, perfect. So let's start with our first question. What are some challenges you face going up against non-Latinas for roles? And again, if you guys want to go in the same order we were going, or if somebody just kind of wants to like raise their hand, and I'll.
If it's easier to go in the same order, I'll go.
Yeah. That's perfect.
For me, I feel like it's a little bit different because I have the reverse problem, I guess, where I don't necessarily come off as a Latina. I am white passing, I suppose, mixed race. So I am most often assumed to be your generic white person. So I've auditioned for some Latin roles, but I usually don't even get considered for Latina roles. And I've had students ask me in the past similar questions: how do you deal with being a Latina, and auditioning and casting for different roles. So I'd like to hear from everybody else and see what it's like to be on the other side of that, because for me, no one believes me when I say that I'm Hispanic. So I'm interested to see what you guys are experiencing on the other end of that.
And Gina, does your name not count for anything?
Well, if it's not on a paper in front of people, you're not gonna, you won't know. And I've also actually been asked if I use my husband's name. I'm not married. People just assume that I have a husband who is Hispanic because, again, they don't believe me. So I've run into that a lot.
No, yeah. I as a manager that submits a lot of the actors and actresses, I definitely do see that a lot. Just because, I've had talents that are like Cuban, or they kind of don't really look whatever the Latina look is, right? So as a manager, like I always say, you are who you are, right? And at the end of the day, your manager or agent or whoever's on your team should respect that and should represent that. Because I've had talents that they've had other managers and they were like, oh, you don't look Latina enough, you need to go get a tan, you need to go darken your hair more. And I'm just like, what? Like, that's crazy. The person is who they are. But if anyone else wants to chime in on how that is, that's a good subject.
Yes. So in my experience, I don't have the Latina look. When they are casting certain roles. What I have been doing is, I don't care what, I don't want to say I don't care, but I show up to casting, I show up to auditions. And that has worked for me. It's like, all right, if the audition says this type, I still show up. I give my resume and I just say, I audition, and they're like, well, you don't look like a man and you're not this and that, but we can use you for this. And I'm like, oh, cool. So lately, that's what I've been doing, because it's, just read my resume, give you a chance. So yes, I open those doors myself, I guess. But that's what I've been doing.
That's actually really great advice, Damaris. Yes, girl.
In my case, I always sometimes I have problem with my accent. I think that's one of the things that sometimes they say, okay, I want a Latina, but not a Latina with with this type of accent, maybe a better accent. So, but I always follow the advice of Catherine that if they don't need you for this, then to the next role, to the next movie. So at some point you'll get you'll get there,
100%. Yeah, Francesca is one of my talents, one of my clients. So, I'm so amazing to be on a panel with her. But yeah, I always tell my clients, I'm like, hey, every opportunity is not for you. As long as you give it your best, you show up, I always say you're always as good as your last job. And that's something that people are going to remember you from, whether it's on set or in an audition room. Definitely something that you have to do as an actress is put yourself out there. Just like Damaris say, like, even if they don't cast you, you still gave it your effort. You still put yourself out there and went and you showed up. And people love seeing that. Like, if someone did that for me, I'll be like, wow, like they have so much passion. Like, let's make a role for them, right? And we're now in the day and age where, you know, filmmakers are just creating their own content now. So, you know, I work with a lot of production companies that will customize their roles based if they really like someone and if they really see the potential in someone. For example, we had, I work with Witness Entertainment, which is a production company, and they had the scriptwriter wrote a whole script. I Have Demons, it's on Amazon Prime right now, so if anybody wants to check that out. But the lead role was supposed to be a Puerto Rican woman, a Puerto Rican lead female role. But we ended up getting an amazing audition from a Mexican female, and she was amazing. Like, we were like, she's perfect, she's perfect. And they ended up switching everything as like, he was like, I'll switch, like if we need to switch and just make her feel comfortable with her Mexican culture. Like, they started switching sayings and little things that she said, and she felt so comfortable being on set and just being herself, right? And I think that's something that as a Latina, like you look for that. You look for that. You don't want to be typecast as as something else, you know. So I think it's very important for us to stick to our grounds, right? And continue trying to break through these roles. That would be my 2 cents for that. And I appreciate all you ladies like being so hungry for that and passionate. So let's go on to the next question. Is having a Spanish accent a challenge or an advantage?
I can answer.
I love it.
I can answer that one. So I was born and raised in Puerto Rico. I speak Spanish perfectly, but I still have my Spanish accent when I go to classes. So what I've been told is that if you have a Spanish accent, you have to learn how to switch it off and switch it on. Don't get rid of it, because that might be your unique way in. So that's what I've been working on. What I have been doing is practicing on my articulation and pronunciation. That's one of my biggest things that I've been working on. But then again, you never know what they're looking for. I have a class in Spain, and you think, oh yeah, I know Spanish. No, no. When I started writing my monologue from scratch and I read it to them, they were a bit confused because it's not the same. You know, they speak, you know, Spanish from Spain, and we speak Caribbean Spanish, and then you have the South American Latinos. So, but you never know what they're looking for. So what she recommended, what my professor recommended me was like, you know, just keep it the way it is with your Spanish, but then make another monologue in Castellano. So I was like, great, you know, that makes sense. And she was like, just videotape it and send it to me. So who knows where that's gonna make it. So I say, don't get rid of your Spanish accent, just work with it, that you know how to turn it on and turn it off, you know, turn it on, turn it off. Ese es mi consejo que le doy a todas ustedes que tienen acento. Si tienen algún acento, no lo quiten completamente, solamente aprendan a manejar el español y el inglés, y si tienen que apagar el acento, lo apagan, y si tienen que aprender el acento, lo aprenden. Eso es todo. ¿Ok? Gracias.
I love that.
I can chime in on that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would say even in English, we all have a different vernacular when we speak to our bosses versus our friends versus our family. And in Spanish, it's the same thing. For me, it's a little bit of the opposite. I've been trained to kind of hide any Spanish accent I've ever had. Even though I speak Spanish fluently and I was, you know, yo hablo español, yo tengo familia, but for me it's backwards. For me, my Spanish has an accent. And so I think what Damaris said is very important. You know when to turn it on in English, or at least I do, on and off. And you can do that. But to your point earlier, Kat, I think it's so important you just stay true to who you are. And if you audition and someone says, oh, you know, that's not what we're really looking for, can you try something else? It's your skill set to be able to provide another accent. You know, Caribbean Spanish is different from South American Spanish, different from Central Spanish. And so it's just really about being true to who you are, but putting some skills, for me at least, has been helpful. It's been a benefit actually to have those skills kind of in my tool belt. It hasn't been a challenge yet.
That's awesome. Francesca or Gina, do you guys want to chime in?
Yes, I totally agree with what Michelle says. In my case, I used to worry about my accent before, but honestly, for me, the best thing someone can do is just stay true to what they are. You know, it's like Kat says, not every opportunity is gonna be for you, and sometimes the most important thing is that someone shows up at that, you know, audition, and maybe that was not for you at the moment, but you know, maybe they will consider you for another role, or you know, you have the connection already, they saw you already. So like, that's really important. And also put on more like dialects. Like right now, for example, my accent is this one, but I want to work in other accent, you know, like get another dialect. That's something really good. You know, put up more talent to your resume. That's something that really helps in my case.
I love that. I love that. And, you know, people stand out. People do stand out. And I think it's so important as us Latinas to really be those, you know, passionate people that people want to see in their audition rooms. Like, just even given that opportunity to go to an audition, to be called back, like that's a triumph in itself, right? Because that means that you were selected from hundreds of submissions, and they liked your look, and now they want to see you act, which is amazing. I think that's always like a great accomplishment. All my clients that at least get an audition, you know, even if they don't get the role, I'm like, you guys got an audition, you guys stood out from the batch. And that is what's important, you know, making sure your material's up to date, making sure your resumes are up to date. That's my job, basically. But I don't know if you wanted to say anything, Gina, before I go to the next question.
I was just going to say that I think it's important to know who your character is that you're crafting for this audition, because I think, you know, auditioning and acting are two different skill sets. You know, you're going in to impress a room full of people, and if, like you were saying earlier, a role was written for a Puerto Rican character, but was recast and rewritten for a Mexican actress or a Mexican American actress, I'm not sure. As long as you go in knowing this is the character that I've created, if you like it and you want to pursue this direction, then be true to that. Be true to whatever choice it is that you're making. So if you want to use your own accent, or if you're talented with different dialects and different accents and you've chosen to go in with another speaking voice, then as long as you're staying true to that choice and you've committed to it, then I think you run into situations where someone says, oh my God, she's amazing. I don't care that she's not Boricua. I'm rewriting this specifically for this woman right here. So I think that's my contribution.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much, ladies. I think it's definitely, again, we, like Michelle was saying, like there is different, like Caribbean Spanish. I'm Ecuadorian and Peruvian, so you know I'm very South American, right? And that's totally different. Like my boyfriend's Dominican, and sometimes when I'm around his family, I'm just like, slow down. I'm trying to catch up, like, you know. So I'm sure people can relate to that, because that's how I am, because we speak a little more like slower and like so it's always something I love to see, like how different, even though we're all Latinas, we all bring like our different flavor when it comes to Spanish. I think that's so important. But let's move on to the next question. Are there any expectations for you to know how to speak Spanish when you try out for roles?
I think that kind of goes back to, I believe, what Gina said. You know, you kind of got to know your role, know what character you're bringing into the audition. But, you know, I would say most people hope that if you, quote unquote, look Latina, you speak Spanish. I do believe that that in my experience, that has been the expectation. Thankfully, I have parents that taught me Spanish.
So in my experience, I never had that that before, but I think that would depends in what they are, what type of accent they're looking for. Like, for example, if it's a Puerto Rican accent, they will tell you, oh, you should say this way. But so far, all the like the parts that I've been given are like have been Dominican accents, so I don't need to change anything. That's my case.
I love that. Anyone else want to chime in on that one?
I was just going to say that I think it depends on who you're auditioning for and their knowledge of the culture, because I think there are a lot of times where you'll have people on the other side of the table who the entire project is not Latino in nature. So when they have a Latin character, they don't really know much about the culture. So if they see a last name that is Latino, they're going to assume, oh, she has to speak Spanish, right? Because that's what all Latin people do. And there are assumptions if the people on the other side of the table are not Latino. So I really think it depends on who you're auditioning for that you're going to face that expectation. Again, for me, I look like this. People make assumptions that I do not speak Spanish until they see, they read, or they hear my last name and immediately switch to, oh, she must speak Spanish because, you know, she's using that last name. And in my case, that's an issue because I don't speak Spanish, at least not fluently. So it's a hindrance for me. So when I do have to audition for Latino roles, it has to be scripted. I can read it to you, I can perform it in Spanish, but I can't improv. There's no way I'm going to be able to ad-lib in the language.
In my case, believe it or not, I've been in classes, voiceover classes, where they're like, does anybody know another language? And I'm like, yes, I know Spanish. And they're like, all right. And they asked me like 3 questions and then I answered, and it's like, they're like, wow. But I guess I don't know, it depends on where you are and you audition. Because, well, a lot of us Puerto Ricans or New Yorkers, I'm not a New Yorker, I'm a Boricua. The expectation is that we don't know how to speak Spanish. You know, that we speak that New Yorker Spanish. But so sometimes I just have to make it clear, you know, I'm Boricua, you know, yes, I speak Spanish, but yeah, it depends where you are. So I don't take offense, you know, I don't get offended by any of that. I just go and do what I got to do and then make the best out of it. That's all I do.
I love that. I love that. I think you guys all make great points. You definitely have to know what the expectation is from the actual, you know, casting director, especially. I know how detailed they can be when they are looking for a specific accent. So I think on the other side of the casting side, they are pretty detailed when it comes to, okay, this person needs to be, you know, Colombian, Puerto Rican. But again, I have a talent. He's so talented that he's Puerto Rican, but he can speak like Spaniard and like all different like dialects of Spanish. And I'm just like, wow, like I know I can submit him to everything. So like he's like one of those that he's done training. That's why I think training is so important, especially in our industry. to have like these different dialects if needed, to make sure your resume reads those skills, like Michelle was saying earlier too, that we should be having as well to be prepared for something like that. So I think that's also a great thing to have. Next question. We only have an hour, so I want to make sure we're rolling, but you guys have been amazing. This is amazing. Have you ever been perceived as too Latina or not Latina enough, or not dark enough or not light enough? That's such a good question.
Yes. So I'm right now in a project, and he was trying to get like a really Latina. He was trying to get a Latina with really dark color, and he couldn't find it until he found me. So I was like, okay. So everybody got, different types. In another project that I was looking for, he was expecting me to be also this color and to have this accent. So I guess it really worked,
I love that. I love that. Anyone else want to chime in?
Like I was saying before, I don't pass for Latino very often, so I have that opposite reaction. Yeah, that's about it. I can apparently go for Jewish roles.
So you're not too Latina, Gina. You're too considered too white for a Latina role.
Right. So I haven't been in that situation where anybody has actually expected me to audition for Latino roles. And when I do, I think people are usually surprised, because when I go for a lot of independent projects, so a lot of it is like via email, and people will see my last name before they see anything else. So I think I'm a surprise when they get my headshot and realize, oh, that's not what I was going for. And I haven't played any Latina roles aside from in my own projects. So I have films that I've done where I've used a Latin last name, but it doesn't necessarily come across in the characters. Actually, you know what? There's a whole scene. If you watch Frame of Reference, which is I hate doing plugs, but Frame of Reference, it's on YouTube. There's an entire scene where we're screaming at each other about being Puerto Rican versus Mexican, and why that's such an inappropriate statement. Why you should know the difference between different Latin nationalities or Hispanic nationalities. So I guess I have played a Latin character once before. I should remember these things.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I mean, like you said, there's definitely, I always say this, roles that are for you, they're for you. And especially being Latina is something that, we kind of stand out. For me, just personal reference, like sometimes people be like, oh, is she Mexican? Is she like, sometimes I get Indian too, because I have like this really like dark hair. And but like people always like, sometimes like, I'm from Jersey City, so shout out to everybody here from Jersey City. I think growing in such a diverse city, I've just been so accustomed to just being open to all different backgrounds, right? All different types of Latinas, Latinos, and non, right? So I think that something is, for me, is so important, like finding out, who the person is, and where they're from. Like you just asking like, oh, where are you from? Blah, blah, blah. Instead of making like, that assumption where you're just like, oh, you're definitely, this. So I think like definitely asking questions. I think that's something that out of respect, people should be doing more, not just assuming. That's something that I don't like, to be honest. But anybody else want to chime in on that question? It's such a good question. And I think we have a question from Facebook. Did you see that, Senya? You want to say something, Damaris? Go.
Oh, all I have to say is, in my experience, I don't think I have gotten a Latina role yet. not by choice, but when I do show up for auditions, I don't show up because it's a Latina role, this or that. But when I was on Broadway, on an off-Broadway play, I just showed up and I did my monologue and that was it. And at the end of the play, they loved the Puerto Rican accent. So, hey, that's the way I take it. You know, that's the way I go to these auditions, with that mentality. They're either gonna love it, it's gonna fit, or not fit, and that's it.
I can add just one little thing to that. I think, and then this is my personal experience again, as someone who's been auditioning for a couple of years, I feel like, and maybe this is another topic, but I feel like over the last 3 to 5 years, the number of roles that are available to Latinas have increased as like Latinas, quote unquote. And so there's less, oh, this is what a Latina is supposed to look like than before, right? Like 5 years ago, if you had a Latina audition, they were probably expecting someone with, you know, tan skin, dark hair, maybe an accent, maybe not. And today, when a Latina auditions, they may be a little bit more open to what a Latina is supposed to look like. At least that's been my experience, but I think that's just because there's more roles. There's more representation of all 23 different types of Latinos that could exist. So hopefully that continues to change.
And on that note, I'm gonna put a quick plug in for our part 2 of Latinas, Fighting Invisibility, Latinas in the film industry. Part 2 is gonna talk about, basically we'll be meeting with those Latinas who work behind the scenes, you know, those people who are actually looking for those roles and making those roles for you guys. So that'll be Wednesday. My plug is for Wednesday, June 6th at 6 o'clock. I'm sorry, June 10th at 6 o'clock. So stay tuned for that part, but definitely thank you, Michelle. Yep.
No, that was great. I definitely agree with you, Michelle. There's definitely been a lot more roles for Latinas, which is a beautiful thing to see. And not just Latinas, like just diversity in general. I think it's the time where, you know, it's trending, which is great, but we have to keep pushing that needle forward and continue, you know, giving them those expectations. Like, we're here, you know, we're here. We want to audition. We want these roles, you know, we're as good enough as any other culture to be able to get these roles. So that's something that, you know, I 100% agree and back to the fullest. So that was a great point. Next question. Is there gender inequality in pay? If so, how does it compare to racial inequality in pay? I think this is very fitting for the time that we're in right now, especially. So I'm sure, I don't know who wants to start. No. I'll start. I mean, I have seen definitely a pay difference, even just male and female, right? And that's something that I don't like to see, honestly, you know, when I see castings with that, even if it's like $100 more, but it just doesn't make sense to me why a male would be paid more than a female if they're doing if they're both like lead roles. So that's something that, you know, kind of makes me a little upset to see, but that's just how the industry is. But I think just especially in the last couple of years, I think we are, as females, are kind of putting ourselves out there. You know, now we're seeing a lot more female directors, a lot more female writers, people that have like the say in these films. And that, I think that's important. Yes, we can do, you know, actors and actresses can do their part and audition for these roles, but it starts with the writer, right? It starts with the person creating the content. And that's something that I love to see when there's like a woman writer, because I'm just like, they know our perspective. They want to push that message forward, that we can do it just as good as, you know, a male can do it. So I think those are my 2 cents. It is happening. It does happen out there. Yeah, Damaris, she has her hand up.
Yeah, sorry, just quick before I go. I must say, I'm just speaking for my part. I started taking writing classes, and how to write scripts and how to write monologues and how to create a film. Because yes, we need more women, and we need more Latina women, because we need to tell our own stories. We need to be on the map. So instead of waiting, you know, I'm just getting ready for that moment that I can say, okay, this is what I want to bring to the table, and this is how I'm going to do it. So what I've been doing is just getting myself ready for that moment, you know, and that's my advice. It's not just, I just don't want to be an actress waiting for the opportunity. It's like Rita Moreno and J-Lo and all of them said, you know, it took them a lot of no's before a yes. And that's the way the industry is, you know, that's just the way it is, you know, you just got to be ready. But then again, you can take it up, you know, take it in your own hands and just start writing and start educating yourself and start, you know, I don't know anything. I didn't know anything about writing, but I started taking a class in Spain. Today I have a class in Canada at night. And just take it upon yourselves, because otherwise we're just going to be invisible for a long time. I mean, we're getting there slowly but surely, but we just got to take it upon ourselves. So I have to go. It was a pleasure being with all of you. This was wonderful. Gracias. Gracias a todos. I will be safe. Gracias a todos y a todas por estar aquí presente. Y los veo pronto en el cine y en los y en la industria. Gracias.
María, antes que se vaya,
sí.
Un segundito. Comparte con nosotros, por favor, your latest project. ¿En qué está trabajando en este momento?
Ahora mismo terminé mi primer monólogo en español. No fue fácil. Y entonces estoy estudiando. Siempre sigan estudiando. Todavía estoy estudiando clases en Canadá. Y soy la única latina y la más negra que hay ahí. Y sí, soy lo más negro que hay en la mayoría de las veces en todas mis clases, que son o en Los Ángeles o en Canadá o en España. Siempre soy la única latina o la única boricua o lo más moreno que hay en esa clase, lo cual por eso tenemos que estar más preparadas, más preparados, porque no nada más estoy representándome a mí, pero las estoy representando a todas ustedes y a todas las latinas. Entonces eso me pone más presión cuando yo estoy en estas clases, que, tengo que estar temprano porque nosotras, we have the Latino time, me pongo en esas clases, llego temprano, estudio todo el día, yo estudio 7 días a la semana, sea en español o sea en inglés. Y también diversificarte, you gotta diversify yourself, estudiar comedia, estudiar drama, estudiar cosas diferentes a lo que no estás acostumbrada. Yo no sé cantar, pero en una de mis clases también canté, porque el maestro de cara dijo, perfecto. Y le encantó mi actuación porque es algo que nadie había hecho y que yo no había hecho. So, también tenemos que cogernos ese riesgo
Perfecto. Thank you.
Para todos, que pasen un buen domingo. Gracias.
Igual, gracias.
Thank you, Damaris. It was a pleasure having you. All right, so ladies, we are going to start wrapping it up. Look, it's so crazy. It's almost been an hour and we're just kind of like just having a good time and talking about, you know, amazing things. But let's go around for the next 10 minutes or so, and then I'll pass it over to Yesenia. Just what your current projects are, what are you guys working on at the moment? Anywhere where people can go and follow you guys, because I know social media is very important right now, especially in our careers, you know, as actresses. Exposure is key and networking is key. I always say that. So definitely let's go around and just see what you're working on and how people can follow you. If you want to start, Gina.
Sure. Well, I'm on every social media, so I'm not that Gina on Twitter and Instagram because obviously there is already a famous Gina Rodriguez. So I'm not her. You can follow me on Facebook at Ginamarie, and on YouTube, I'm Ginamarie Rodriguez, and you can see my latest projects there, which one is called Cruel and Unusual Therapy, which is a short sex comedy, 7 minutes, cute, it's funny. And the other one I mentioned before, which is Frame of Reference, that's also on that channel. And my website is GinamarieRodriguez.com. I think that's everything.
Let's go with Francesca.
Okay. Well, right now I'm working in this web series. It's called Who Deals. I've been casted as Francesca Velasquez in the in the web series. So it's a really fun, you know, TV show, and it's on YouTube right now. Every time I always post it in my Facebook. My Facebook is Francesca Pujols, just like that. And then my Instagram is Franche95. I'm always posting all those links. I'm also working on this project. It's another web series. It's called Relentless. We haven't started yet because of the quarantine, but as soon as all this pass, we're gonna be like getting there. And yeah, so far those right now.
I want to chime in and just congratulate Francesca. She was a supporting female role in I Have Demons, which is on Amazon Prime right now. So definitely check that out. She did amazing. Just wanted to do that. Michelle.
Sorry, I was muted. So yeah, so for myself, I've been working on kind of exposing my various talents. And Saturday, this upcoming Saturday, which I believe is June 16th. Is that it? Is that Saturday? Well, June 16th, you guys can catch my first ever self-produced episode for Mingle with Michelita on youtube.com. It's just hanging out with me and the things that are going on around me and the things that I love. But I thought that was a really good way to just put myself out on platforms. So people, I just just be out. But a lot of the projects that I'm working on are around hosting and dancing. We'll be releasing a memorial to George Floyd. Over 60 dancers produced by Amber Penny Winter Williams. That'll be out at the end of the month as well. And all this quarantine time, who knows? In just a couple of weeks, we'll probably be working on more things. But it's really good to have had this time to focus on the things that matter. Like Damaris said, continue learning. There's so many free workshops online going on still from quarantine. And I really, a self project is to continue to learn. And I've been really working on that as well. Well, you can catch me at Michelita or at Michelita on Instagram. So that's at MEE-Chelita. Michele Nervious on Facebook. And for now, I think that's it.
Thank you so much, ladies. Definitely, everyone, please follow these amazing Latina actresses. girls, I give you so much kudos, respect for doing what you guys do and doing what you guys love, right? I think this is just all about passion. I always tell my clients, you know, you have to, it's not work if you love what you do, right? Because we can be on set for hours, you know, and loving each moment of it, and it just goes by because it's what we love to do. And I love seeing the passion, the hunger that you guys have for the industry. I think that's something that's needed, especially during this time right now. We need to empower each other, right? There's a lot of like stereotype when Latinas are like always attacking each other, against each other, but we're so much more powerful together. So I think that's something that we should always be empowering each other, supporting each other, you know, just creating this platform where we're just sharing each other's work, right? Because we want, you know, if one Latina wins, we all win. That's how I see it. So Yesenia, thank you so much for having us. It's been a pleasure. I'm gonna hand it over to you. Do any closing remarks? But ladies, love you girls. Keep doing what you're doing. And if you need a manager, let me know. I'm here.
Thank you, Katt. Actually, that was going to be my first statement. You know, your plug for what you're working on, and how people can find you.
Oh, duh, right? I'm always like, you know, give them their shine, but definitely www.arcostalent.com. That's our website. We are always recruiting new talents. As I said earlier, you know, we're all about diversity and pushing that needle forward. That's our core mission. So definitely, if you're interested in management, definitely send over your resume, your headshots. If you have a link to a demo reel or monologues that we can look into, we're always looking for new talents to give them that opportunity to be represented. So hit me up, ladies.
Yes. So
thank you, Yesenia.
Yes, of course. Once again, thank you all the ladies for this panel. And I just wanted to recognize some of our Facebook comments. I have here from our library assistant director, Ingrid Betancourt, says, excelente tópico. Gracias a todas las participantes en esta conversación. Jeremy Johnson says, to all the superb panelists and moderator, thanks for providing this forum. Gracias. Facebook Live says, yes, it's the destination. No is how you get there. And then we have, oh, sorry, Bill Drummer. We didn't get to your question, but hopefully you'll tune in on Wednesday for our part 2 program, and we could get to your question then. Do we have any more? And a couple of shout outs from Nancy Robles. Buenas tardes a todas. When I travel to other states, people tell me that they love my accent. I actually get surprised because when I travel to states, to other states, I'm told that I have an accent and I don't, you know, what accent are they talking about? I guess that's that Jersey girl thing. because it's not a Spanish accent. You know, I was born and raised here. My parents spoke Spanish to each other and yelled at us in Spanish. But that was the gist of it, right? So, you know, that's my 2 cents on that. And well, I am going to wrap up the program by thanking everyone. And real quick, as I mentioned several times, part 2, June 10th, 6 o'clock, same bat chime, same bat channel. I also wanted to raise your attention to other programs that the library has been putting together. They've been really great throughout the entire, I mean, as soon as we went into quarantine, my associates got together and they were pushing out public programs, tons of them, children programs, adult programs, historical programs, programs on genealogy. And you can watch them all. This one will also be recorded at www.mpl.org. You can follow us definitely on the library's Facebook page, Newark Public Library. And then of course we have our own Facebook page, the New Jersey NJ Hispanic Research and Information Center. We are also on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And then by a show of hands, real quick, we are in the time of census. Who has completed their census so far? Great. And who is going to complete their census after we finish this program, right? So Gina, it's really important. Of course, I'm sure you've heard, you know, in terms of funding to our community, is really important to complete the census. But I come from another part, right? At the New Jersey Hispanic Research and Information Center, we document the history of Latinos in New Jersey, you know, so I come from it with a historical perspective. And in terms of history and genealogy, you know, it's really important to complete your census so that people, you know, in the future, when you're no longer around, you know, can look you up through census materials, you know, so for our children's future, definitely, and in our history, is definitely important to complete that census. And it's real quick, right? It takes less than 10 minutes. You could do it on the phone, you could do it online, and you can mail it in, you know, so definitely do that if you get a chance. Oh, you know, when you get a chance. And if that's all, no one has any other comments, questions, or concerns, again, enjoy this beautiful rest of the day in a weekend. Stay tuned for the next part. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us.
My goodness, thank you so much for having us.
Yes, yes. Hasta la
Thank you, Yesenia.
Gracias a todas.
Okay.
Stay safe, Damaris.
I will. It's peaceful.
Oh, good. All right, ladies. Pa'lante.
That's right.
Bye.